So hello guys, today my NPSC 2012 mains paper 2 question paper explain growth. Each and every question solved as except for some current affairs which will be irrelevant. So they want to discuss no grow. So I'll be discussing questions of 2 marks, 5 marks, 10 marks and 20 marks in the video. So I'll be explaining part 1. Part 1 will be uh, consisting of 120 126 marks, and the second part will be consisting of 74 marks. Nagaland. So first question of NBSC 2012 means paper 2 is what is meant by political right. The right of an individual to vote, contest elections, hold constitutional offenses, or support or oppose the government and take part in changing it in a political way is called political right. Right to equality is the right to provide for equal treatment of everyone before the law, prevent discrimination on various grounds, and abolish untouchability and titles. So if you write this, we can expect one half or two from the given answer. So no need to write too much question, too much answer. Just 1-2 lines will be enough. So question number 2: mention the 2 points on which democratic partition depends. So what is democratic partition? Democratic partition is defined as partitioning the democracy. It consists of independence of judiciary, strong constitution, and degree of public participation. So question number 3: according to Locke, what is meant by first and second contract? The first contract is defined as an open contract in which individuals, members of society, come together to form a sovereign. So the theory is under sociology. So Locke stated that the first contract is people um, form together as sovereign, and this sovereign is termed as a king, monarch, or a hereditary chief. So the first contract tells us about the transfer of power, and the second contract involves the framing of a constitution. That is, the second contract involves discharge of obligation according to terms and conditions of the contract, which may be written or unwritten. So it will be on more or less the framing of a constitution. So Locke first and second contract theory we can write in 1 or 2 points for 2 marks. Third is mention the 2 points on the liberal theory of democracy. So what is liberal theory? So liberal theory is a political ideology in which representative democracy operates under the principle of liberalism. Liberalism means free. So the 2 points on liberal theory of democracy we can write as election between multiple political parties, separation of power, rule of law, and independence of judiciary. So we can write 2 points, that is election between multiple political party and separation of power, which promotes liberalism. So we can write 2 points for 2 marks. So next, why SC and ST are extended classes are extended by preferential treatment. What is preferential treatment? Is the reservation policy. So why SC and ST are provided reservation is to provide to correct the historical injustice. So prior to independence and after independence, to the backward community, especially the ST and SC, were discriminated heavily. So in order to correct this, reservation is provided. Second is adequate representation of ST and ST in services, that is in government services. So 4 points we can write. Third point we can write as advancement of backward community of SC and ST, and fourth is to ensure equality on the basis of meritocracy. So we can expand this for 5 marks also, and for 2 marks also. For 2 marks we can write these 2 options, and for 5 marks you can explain all the 5 options. So the next question is, the term public administration originated from which country? So it was originated from Latin word from the word ad means people and minister means serve. So the term public administration means to serve the people, and in which the Indian institution of public administration was set up. So it was set up in 1954, and There's a chairman, who is T.N. Chaturvedi, and the president is the vice president of India for the Indian Institute of Public Administration. Second is, what is dual economy? Dual economy, we can explain it as two types of economy. It is underdeveloped as well as progressive economy, and Indian economy is a classic example of a dualistic economy. That is two types of economy running parallel in each other. Question number 8, mention the salient features of the national agriculture policy. So the national agriculture policy is very important in terms of the national agriculture policy is very important in terms of the farm laws. So first is privatization of agriculture and price protection, and private sector participation through contract farming and national livestock breeding strategy, and restriction on movement of agriculture commodities to be progressively dismantled. That is pan-India movement of agriculture commodities that is envisaged under the national, that is the farm laws 2021. So we can write 2 points or 4 points, it is your wish. Next, what is NAFTA? NAFTA stands for North America Free Trade Agreement. It was agreement signed between Canada, Mexico, and United States, and it was formed to create a trilateral trade between North America, and it was signed in 1994, and it formed one of the largest trade blocs in the world by GDP. So next question is oligopoly. What is oligopoly? Means few sellers. That is, oligo is a Greek word which means few, and polion means to sell. So it is defined as a market structure with small number of firms competing each other. So it is also termed as a competition among the few. This is a very repetitive type of question, and it is very important for exam purposes. Next, mention the steel plant established with German. So for German, it will be Rourkela. Rourkela steel plant in Orissa 1954, and for Soviet it is Bilai and Bokaro. Bilai is in Chhattisgarh and Bokaro is in Jharkhand. Mention the states where Kolam. Kolam is the Kolam tribe or Kolavar is a scheduled tribe of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh, and Todas is a Dravidian ethnic group who live in the Nilgiri hills of Tamil Nadu. Mention the principal activities of NSSO. So NSSO is a department which was established in 1950 under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It was used for collecting statistical data on socio-economic, demographic, agriculture, and it is the focal agency for collecting statistical data. So the functions or the activities will be survey of household or different expenditure employment. It conducts annual survey of industries, report on agricultural production, and crop estimation. Basically, all the surveys will be conducted by the NSSO. What are the main activities of the National Development Council? So the National Development Council, it was established uh, alongside the Planning Commission. So the main function is prescribe guidelines for preparation of national plan. So while preparing national plan, the approval of the National Development Council is very important, and also the consider the national plan prepared by the Niti Aayog to assess the resource requirement for public implementation and for program implementation and review working of national plan. So if we write these 4 points, we can guarantee 2 marks. So question number 15, mention the primary role of NABARD. So NABARD was established. To know NABARD, we have to memorize the date, that is July 1982, on the recommendation of the Sivaram Committee, and the main function is to facilitate credit flow or loans for promotion and development of agriculture, cottage, and village industry. So if we write this, we can guarantee almost 2 marks for this. Next, for environment, what is coal? Coal is the worst environmental pollutant. So we can write this as coal is the largest contributor of human-made increase of CO2 in Earth's atmosphere, and it releases large amount of airborne toxins like mercury, lead, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen, particulate matter, and various other heavy metals. So the next question is biosphere. So for 2 marks, we can write this as it is a global ecological system and interacting with all living things and the relationship with lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. So it is derived from the Greek word bios means life and sphere means sphere. So for 2 marks, we need to just write a global ecological system interacting with all living things and the relationship between atmosphere, lithosphere, and hydrosphere, and is derivation from the Greek word bio means life and sphere means sphere. So the last question for 2 marks is what is biodiversity. So it is an science question, environment question. So we can write this as biodiversity is a region or an area with unusual concentration of species, so that many of them are endemic. So it was marked by serious threat. It is marked by serious threat to biodiversity, and the concept was given by Norman Myers in 1988. So we can write this as what is hotspot in biodiversity means region or area, and concept was given by Norman Myers in 1988. So now we'll be going to the 5 marks question. So 5 marks if the question is given differentiate, so we can write it in tabular form. So public administration and private administration, they are telling us to find the difference. So first, the meaning. So meaning is that for 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 public administration, it will be managed by the government, and for business, for private administration by business enterprises, and it is a for public administration it is political process, and for private it is business process, and approach is bureaucratic for public, and egalitarian for private. Egalitarian means equal in terms of rank. So orientation means welfare for public administration, and the main for private it is profit motive. So accountability is that the government is accountable to the citizen. If the citizens are not happy, then they can complain to the government. But for private administration, they are monopolistic. That is, they are not accountable to the people. So next question number 2 for 5 marks is what is the necessity of the constitution. So for 5 marks, it is better to write around 100 words because it will be enough. Because for 200 marks in 3 hours, it is very difficult to manage the time. So we need to write point wise with a small heading. So the necessity of constitution. So first explain what is constitution. So it is a set of rules and which sets up the machinery of the government, and also explain that it determines the relationship between various institutions and components of the government, that is legislative, executive, and judiciary. Basically explaining the relationship between legislative, executive, and judiciary, and we can write down some of the functions that it provides a set of rules for coordination among the society, allocation of power to the different sectors, to the different organs of the government, and it lays down the fundamental principles according to which a state is governed. That is basically the fundamental rules, rights. So for you can explain this, and we can guarantee around 3 to 4 marks from here. So on next question is on what matter the green agenda. So green agenda is related with ecosystem protection, loss, deterioration of natural life, support system, and prevention and degradation of natural resources like water, forest, biodiversity, etc. And brown is for water provision, sanitation, drainage, inadequate solid and hazardous waste management, and air pollution, including uncontrolled emission from motor vehicles. So green agenda is for natural, for lost, for ecosystem protection, and brown agenda is for water management. Question number next is what is meant by organic rock. So 5 marks, what is organic rock. So basically if it comes to 2 marks, then you can write that it is a coal, that it is that it there are those types of rocks that contain carbon. But for 5 marks, we have to specifically uh, explain that organic rocks is a type of sedimentary rocks and it contains carbon, and the most common type of organic rock are examples we can write as coal, lignite, oil shale, or black shale. The organic matter may be disseminated throughout the rock. So we can explain this as the rock is covering that the organic material is covering the entire rock, giving a uniform dark color. So we can use the example as coal as an example of organic rock for source of heat. Next is genetic pollution. So 5 marks, what is genetic pollution. So we can write this as genetic pollution is the uncontrolled flow of genes into the wild population. So, and also scientifically we can term as dispersal of contaminated altered genes from genetically engineered organisms to natural organisms. So what it will do is that it will hamper the natural growth cycles. It is also called genetic pollution because it negatively impacts the fitness of the population, and introduction of unwanted characteristics which may lead to this species extinction. So we can further elaborate by giving some examples. It is according to you if you are willing. So for 5 marks, if you write around 100 to 70 70 words, then it will be more than enough. So next is economic question. What is balance of payment? So balance of payment, we can write it as a statement of all economic transaction with the rest of the world that includes goods as well as services. So the balance of payment, we can further elaborate as if the balance of payment is a method countries use to monitor all monetary transactions. So if it indicates whether a country has surplus or deficit trade. So if surplus, then it is called trade surplus, and if deficit, it is called trade deficit. So and further, the balance of payment also reveals the financial and economic status of a country. So if you write for around this paragraph, then it will guarantee you almost 4 out of 5. Next is for 10 marks. For 20 marks, I have uh, I, I have neglected the 10 marks because it was related to current affairs of that time. So I'll be explaining 20 marks. It is very important. Elucidate the availability and prospective utilization of renewable energy resource in India. So there तान गएपछि कि availability विचारको चाहिँ are prospective utilization of renewable energy. So first we have to explain the availability of renewable energy. So first introduction, we can write this as that India has set an ambitious target of achieving 175 gigawatts of renewable energy, but then by 2020 we have to generate electricity, but currently there are only 80 gigawatts, and according to BB Energy Outlook, our consumption on coal will increase from 56 will decrease from 56 to 48 in 2040. So this shows that India is, and Niti Aayog has also confirmed that coal will contribute at least 44% of the energy. So this shows that India is long adapting clean energy technology. To so on a brighter note, we can explain that the government has approved proposal to declare ocean thermal energy, that is energy from ocean, as a renewable energy source. So next point is how to explain what is renewable energy. So renewable energy is that energy that can be replenished quickly on par with human demand. So it includes solar energy, wind energy, and geothermal energy. So and how renewable energy can be used is electricity generation, heating, cooling, transportation, and power supply to rural areas. So why India needs renewable energy? Because of its because under Paris Agreement, sustainable goal number 7, India has pledged to focus on renewable energy, to focus to contribute nearly 47% of the energy to for renewable energy now. So why is it important for India? So why renewable energy is very important for India? Because reduce oil demand. So in India imports nearly 84% of its oil needs from the international market. So since international politics, especially in Iran and other Middle Eastern countries, international politics is very volatile, so India will face continuous insecurity from global. Also, the only solution is to focus on renewable energy and to reduce pollution. So in a study that shows that 7 out of the 10 most polluted cities are in India, with New Delhi at the top. And for rural electrification, many villages in India still doesn't have electricity, and the initiative by the government is National Green Corridor. It will aim at synchronizing energy produced from renewable energy source with conventional station. And National Clean Energy Fund, it is a fund created using carbon tax to back research and development in innovative friendly technology. And PM Kusum. So PM Kusum is a scheme which provides connected renewable energy power plants of 0.5 to 2 megawatt solar energy pump, and it also involves installation of 10,000 megawatt of decentralized renewable power by farmers. So National Wind Solar Hybrid Policy. So this policy was signed in 2018 to provide a framework for the promotion of large grid connected wind solar power hybrid. and it will provide for optimal and effective utilization of wind and solar energy. And next is National Offshore Wind Energy Policy. It was notified in October 2015 to develop offshore wind energy in Indian Exclusive Economic Zone along with India's coastline of 7,600 kilometers. So eight zones are identified under the National Offshore Wind Energy Policy, basically putting wind energy in coastal areas. Next, uh, next is grid connected solar power plant. So the rooftop solar program aims to achieve capacity of 40,000 megawatts at rooftop. International Solar Alliance was Next is International Solar Alliance, that is established in 2015 on 30th of November after the COP21 uh, COP21 in Paris. So what is International Solar Alliance is that it is an alliance of 121 solar rich countries lying fully or partially between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and the main objective of the International Solar Alliance to collectively address key common challenges to the scaling up of solar energy, that is basically generating solar energy. Srishti scheme is providing solar power plant on rooftop, and National Solar Mission is a part of the National Action Plan on Climate Change, and its target was to generate 100 gigawatts of energy by 2022. So what has India achieved? So India is the fifth largest producer of solar energy and sixth largest producer of renewable energy, and as a part of the national determined contribution, 40% of the installation power generation will be from non-fossil fuels. In 2015, India has decided that 175 gigawatts of solar energy renewable energy will be installed by 2022, and it will include 10 gigawatts from solar, 60 from wind, 10 from biomass, and 5 gigawatts from small hydropower. And challenges to renewable energy is high initial cost. The cost of installation is very high, around 4 crore per megawatt, and this is the reason why many opt for coal-based power plant, weather dependent. So if the solar, especially solar and wind energy depends on the weather. And next is location. In hilly areas, solar energy is very hard to uh, get, and also the distance between renewable energy source and grid increases the cost and lowers efficiency of renewable energy, that is uh, transmission of power losses. So the next 20 marks question is discuss the features of comparative public administration. So to explain this comparative public administration, first we have to put the definition. For 20 marks, we have to write the first introduction. So comparative public administration is studying the administration in a comparative fashion, or studying the administration of other countries. So basically, comparative public administration was given by Woodrow Wilson. So he was the father of public administration, and he stated that to know one's country's weakness, we have to compare with other countries' administrative setups. Initially, it was not very taken seriously because governments were busy trying to understand their own administrative setup. So, CBA took a philosophical turn after the World War II, when the British Empire fell, and it gave rise to many newly independent states. Later, because of the necessity, it led to the comparative public administration group in the United States in 1953, and it was led by Fredericks. And this group studied various administrative problems and developments countries in the light of prevailing socio-economic and political environment. And Fredericks outlined 3 points on comparative public administration. That is, comparative public administration moves from nomadic approach towards empirical analysis. That is, analyzing the administrative setup in a factual manner, and it shifts from individuality to universality. That is, uniformity of administration throughout the world, and it argues for ecological basis of study of public administration. That is, studying the public administration in a broader sense. So the features of comparative public administration is that it is very significant area, and second is that it helps to understand the administrative setup of different societies and what and why it works, and it helps to improve the present administrative system. And the fourth point is that it lays emphasis on empirical studies, that is, studying the administrative setup in a factual manner of each and every facts. And comparative public administration believes in interdisciplinary orientation. That is, we have to study the administrative setup in various social, welfare, political, economic way, and it lays stress on continuous interaction. So its comparative public administration provides for interaction between administrative machinery, social, cultural, political, and economic entities. And next is it highlights the multi-organizational structure in the administrative machinery of a government. That is, in a comparative public administration, many departments will coordinate with one another. That is the personal and administrative reforms, the finance, the home department, and all will work together for improving the efficiency of an administration. So we can conclude the answer that in this way, comparative public administration has widened the horizon of public administration by making it multi-structural and useful to cater to the needs of the students. So for 20 marks, comparative public administration, as we can write this as first, uh, introduction explain guru tala history lab explain guru dia or tala function do lab explain guru dia do features or functions lab explain guru do you can guarantee at least 15 to 20 marks from this question. So with this we come to the end of the first part. Second part I'll be explaining the next video. So thank you so much, and please like and subscribe to this channel.